Happy Wednesday and welcome to Breaking into Hollywood, the master course, the technical version. We, for the last few Mondays, have been having special guests on in the TV, film, and general media industry. Tonight we have a very special guest who's more in the tech industry. I'll introduce Mike in just a second, but let me tell you what we're up to here. A big part of the master course that we have built for you involves Google. Google Plus is what I describe as like falling down Allison's rabbit hole. There are so many things that you can do within Google Plus and so many benefits and so many great people that you can find that it's silly not to use it. And to set it up, it's kind of tricky to get to the beginning of it, setting it up properly, just so that you've got it all set up nicely and you don't get yourself into a spaghetti mess, which is what I did when I first started. But literally, when I first stumbled on this about 6 months ago, I spent a good overnight, good 24 hours just playing on Google Plus because there was just so much to see and so much to learn. Why it's going to be so great for you for breaking into Hollywood is because you're going to be able to collaborate with each other. You can do hangouts like this that we're doing, but you can do them privately. So they're kind of like Skype calls, but they're Google Plus Hangouts, the private ones of those. So, and also we as a team with Gary, with Mike, with any guest, we can go live whenever we want. It's 24-hour service, which is just magnificent because it's free. But where I really see, if you've jumped into the Breaking into Hollywood community that we set up. We were quite active with it over the weekend, last few days. When you see us getting to know each other, I can see collaborations coming out of that. Somebody wanting some opinions on a script, somebody wanting to practice some lines for some scene. You guys can tag team each other and really help each other out. And then of course, you know, we're going to be around. We'd love to talk to you. We'll hang out with you as well. So let's say hello to Gary first. Hello, Gary. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Bethan. I am excited you and Mike are coming together and conspiring because you guys have educated me so much in the recent months and really literally shifted my landscape, shifted my thinking about how we interact creatively as a community. And this is like a whole new, brave new world. So I'm really grateful that you're going to share this with our community.
Well, let's make it clear that Mike is going to be sharing it. Mike is going to be able to talk about this. So we're going to talk about Google Plus and how it applies to breaking into Hollywood. And then we're also going to give you a peek at part of the master course, which is a special extra that we've added on. So those of you that are doing the master course, this will soon be delivered to you. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of that. And then at the end, we're going to talk about the private sessions with Gary. So if you signed up for the master course, we are going to be doing them in blocks with a minimum 10 people. And Gary, you're going to be in the room like I am right now and like Mike is, in the room with Gary to talk about any questions that you have involved with the master course that you're doing. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to one of the members of the Breaking into Hollywood team, Mike Alton. I know him from another company that I run, and I introduced him to Gary, and they liked each other, and since then, Mike's been part of the team. So how are you, Mike?
Great, great. Thanks for having me on here. And, you know, that was such a great introduction to what people can do with Google+. I think we could end the call right now. I don't have anything to...
Mike's the quiet one of us all, as you can see. He's the laid-back one. We're all a little bit nuts, but he's okay. Okay, so Mike, let's start from the very beginning. We're having already a lot of people watching our shows. You know, a lot of people checking in, but a lot of them are what they call the blue heads. So we need to get beyond that. Can we talk about what that is and why it's so important not to be one of those?
Absolutely. And for those of you who are watching live right now, please, at any point during this show, throw a question that you have in the comments. And like I said in that first comment, I will promise to get to it either during the show if we have time, or I will come back afterwards and answer your questions for as long as it takes. So don't hesitate. Anything that you have been wondering about when it comes to Google Plus and how to use it, what to do, feel free to ask. Now, I also included in the comment that I posted a link to a post that I shared a couple weeks ago called Google Plus University. Obviously, we don't have time in this 45-minute to an hour-long show to go through everything there is to know about Google+. But if you hear some things that you want to learn more about, go check out that post. It'll really take you through some deep dives into some specifics like circles, notifications, the works. So, starting at the beginning, it's your profile. And this is an area that I'm going to encourage you to spend some time on. I know all of us are busy. We've got things going on. You're trying to work on your projects and make connections. But taking the time to really fine-tune and hone your Google Plus profile, and really this is true for all your social networks, hone that profile, polish it, make it look gorgeous, because just like if you're walking into a meeting with somebody for the first time, you're going to hand them your business card. Your social media profile and your Google Plus profile is that business card. It is that first impression sometimes that could make or break whether or not an influencer or a colleague or somebody decides to take a little more interest in you. So start with that profile image. Get rid of the default blue head that Bethan mentioned and upload an actual profile image of yourself. You're doing this for your job, you're doing this for your profession, you're developing a personal brand so that strange graphic avatar that you've been using for 20 years, that weird handle, that anime name that you picked 10 years ago, that's not going to work. You need to use your real name, you need to use your real picture, and it should be as professional of a headshot as you can muster. If you can pay somebody to actually get a truly professional picture, do it. It's worth it. Again, this is your business, this is your brand. But if you can't...
Let me go a step further on that one for just for a second, Mike. Google Plus is a much better version of LinkedIn. You can get to anybody on Google Plus. You don't have to be at a certain level. So you want to look professional. If you are going to start commenting or interacting on somebody who you admire and want their attention, you can actually go get it on Google Plus. You don't need to pay for it. You don't need to know them. You don't want to stalk them, but that's why Mike's saying this profile thing is so important. You want to portray yourself as best as you can for everyone who's going to be watching you. Sorry, Mike, I'm going to jump in and just Barbie it up every so often.
No, anytime you want to, because you're absolutely right. It is super, super critical, and it is totally different from even Facebook or LinkedIn. Google Plus is a one-way connection. That means I can circle you, and you don't have to approve it, and you don't have to circle me back. Facebook, you have to approve that friend request. On LinkedIn, you have to approve that connection. You might even have to already know their email address, depending on what they're done and who you've tried to connect with in the past. So Google Plus isn't that way. You can follow people, and you can begin to make an impression on them before they know who you are. So that first impression is your profile picture, because on Google Plus, anytime your name shows up on a comment, on your profile, on a post that you've done, on a post that somebody shared of yours, there's a list of 20-plus places that your name shows up, and when you mouse over your name, or when anybody else mouses over your name, this little thing pops up that we call a hover card. In the middle of that pop-up is your profile pic, and then behind that across the top is the cover photo, which I'm going to get to in a minute. So it's that large graphic on top of your profile. And then there's a couple of pieces of information about you, your title, and where you're from. And a big button that would allow that individual hovering over your name to decide to put you in a circle, which is Google Plus's way of following other people. So if you leave a comment on an influencer's post, and we're going to talk about influencers in a little bit, but if you leave a comment on an important person's post, somebody that you want to make an impression on, and maybe they don't know who you are, maybe they've never heard from you before in their entire life, they're going to check out that comment and say, oh, who's this guy? And they're going to hover over your name, and your little hover card's going to come up. So make it
important. So important, absolutely.
So once you've got that great profile image up, and again, a great profile image, if it's not professional, at least make sure you're smiling. And it's, this section of your head, you can even cut off the top of your head a little bit, but make sure it's a nice close-up shot of your face, and you're dressed appropriately for, whatever kind of, in this case, the Hollywood industry. You don't necessarily need to be in a suit and tie or pantsuit or anything like that. But a ripped T-shirt, no shirt, probably not appropriate.
No.
some tips there for your profile. Now, once you've got that profile pic, the one thing I mentioned before is that cover image. That's the big picture across the top of your profile. And this is such a huge opportunity for you to carry on your personal brand that you're developing. Who are you? What do you do? What do you want to do? What are you great at? What represents you? Don't just throw up a picture of your backyard or your favorite flower, or, put some thought into it. And again, recognize that this is part of the overall impression that you're going to be leaving or making with somebody who's checking you out. And, potentially may want to create a relationship with you. This isn't going to make or break it, but every little bit helps. So once you get that cover image set, the next thing is to go into your about. And your about is comprised of these different cards, which are really just sections that are separated graphically. And the most important part here is your story. And on Google+, this is basically the about, or the biography that you can write for yourself. And Google+ allows you to write at length, probably like around 2,000 characters, I'm guessing. It's fairly lengthy. You can include links, and you can do some formatting. So don't be shy. Don't be brief. Be very detailed. Be very specific. Talk about who you are, what you do, your goals and aspirations, and relate it to what you are trying to accomplish here on Google+. If you're trying to write scripts and get those sold and get deals, talk about that. Talk about your passions. Talk about your expertise. Talk about your experience. Give the people who are circling you some idea of what you're interested in. You can actually help people by suggesting what circles they might put you in. I tell people if they're going to circle me, I talk about social media, technology, blogging, content marketing, SEO. Put me in one of those circles if you've got a circle that's topical along those lines. And we'll talk about what circles mean in a little bit. But go into detail there. Include links. If you're blogging, if you have a website, if you've got profiles elsewhere, include those in that about or that story section and be as thorough as you can. And again, when you're writing, think about what you're writing from the perspective of who you're trying to talk to. This isn't a resume, so it needs to be interesting and exciting and compelling. Sell yourself.
Absolutely. And I want to go back to what I was saying before that Mike, you conferred. You can reach out to anybody on here. There are no barriers, and it's kind of like the grown-up version. I think of it as a grown-up version of Facebook, because the people on here are here for a purpose. They're not here just talking about what their dog did last Saturday night or what they're going to eat for dinner. It's a very business-oriented community, but also a very giving community. And the reason I met Mike was when I first started out, I didn't understand what was going on. There was just so much to this Google Plus thing, so I reached out to someone really high up and said, "Hi, I'm new here. This is my business, and I'd really like to know, how I can use it to the best ability." And he ended up coming on a show with me. So it's so easy to get to people. They're very open. They're very giving. It's the best social media route that any of them, for me, for my businesses, which I think is the same for breaking into Hollywood. And that's why what Mike is saying is so important. Don't just bash it out. Make sure that you're so proud of it, because you might be talking to someone in a few days that you never dreamt you were going to speak to just because you're here on Google+. You're not going to get to them on Facebook. You're not going to get to them on LinkedIn.
That is absolutely right. People talk about social networks, and Facebook, of the ones that are still alive, that's been around the longest, so that's usually what people think of, and it's certainly the largest of the social media platforms. But to me, Facebook really isn't true social networking, because on Facebook, most of us are going to connect with people we know, friends and family. So we're not really using it to network, we're using it to keep in touch. Google Plus, it's totally different. Most people do not come to Google Plus and start hanging out with their real-life friends and family. Most people will find on Google Plus, if they use it, that they'll connect with complete strangers, people they never knew before and maybe will never meet in real life, but they network with them. It's like going to a business networking luncheon and walk around handing out business cards and meeting other business owners in your area. You come to Google Plus, you tell Google Plus what you're interested in, and you start to look for other people who share those passions, and you network. You grow your network of people who are in the same boat as you. They're learning, they're struggling, they're trying to find out how to do certain things, how to break into the industry, and you network with people who have already made it, like Gary and Bethan, who you can learn from. So that's what we're hoping to help you with here. So one of the things that we've talked about a couple times is circles, and this is kind of a complicated concept, so hopefully we can break it down for you. On Facebook, I'm going to just relate it to Facebook because, again, most of us are probably familiar with that. On Facebook, you connect with somebody. You become friends with them, and it's a two-way connection. Both people have approved it, and that's it. It's the only way to categorize it. On Google Plus, you put people into one or more circles. And, again, they don't have to approve it. You can create as many circles as you want to, and you can put people in as many circles as you want to. So
you can, let me go back. So you can create a circle actors. You can create a circle people I would like to meet. You can create a circle people I've done business with. You can create a circle breaking into Hollywood. So everybody that you have dealt with within the shows of Breaking into Hollywood and the community would all be in that circle, and the people that you have in your circles, you're going to see their stream. That's the way that works.
That's exactly right. So the reason that you might want to put people in different kinds of circles and kind of segregate them and separate them a little bit is because you can control the volume of posts that you get from different circles. And in fact, what I do is I have several circles that are labeled by value. Because when you go in to edit a circle's value, you can change it to most posts, some posts, few posts, or none. And so I have a circle called most posts. And the people that I want to hear from a lot, when I want to see most of what they're posting, they go into that circle. And they go down from there. So if someone I just met, I'm not really sure, how much they're talking about what I'm interested in, they might go into the some posts or few posts circle. And as I get to know them and I want to hear more and more from them, I bump them up. Now at the same time, they may be in other circles that are topical or interest-based. It might be an actor, a fellow actor that I've met, or a fellow writer. Or in my case, I've got different social media experts, or SEO experts, or blogging experts, what have you. And the beauty there is you could totally turn off the volume on some of these circles, which means if you go to your home stream, you're not going to see any posts out of those circles. But anytime you want to, you can jump into one of those circles and see posts from those people, or check out, remind yourself who was in that circle. If you needed to get in touch with somebody, who is working on writing scripts, you can jump back into that circle and, oh yeah, that's right, I circled Johnny, and he's somebody I wanted to connect with. I just remember his name. When you're sharing posts, you can also share to a specific circle, which will limit the visibility of that post. So that's another reason to have these different kinds of circles. People like myself, we probably post 100% to public, which just means I share a post to Google+, and anybody who's following me can see it. But sometimes we might not want all of our followers to see all of our activities. And I'll give you a great example. Let's suppose you have a passion for horseback riding. You love horses, you love talking about horses, and you want to spend a significant amount of your time on social media, connecting with other people who share that passion and talking with those people. But you don't want your Google Plus stream, if somebody goes to your Google Plus profile and sees your post or is following you don't want that filled with your horseback riding posts. You want to be, showing off that or talking about your professional interests and your passions and desires along those lines, because that's really what you're using this platform for, is getting into Hollywood. And you don't want to muddy the waters with all of these personal posts. So you can begin to develop a circle of fellow horse enthusiasts, and when you want to share something, just select that circle, and only those people would be able to see that post. And now you've made a totally separate section of your Google Plus life.
It's a good point, I think, good to point out that automatically when you go to post something, it adds in the public. So you've got to make sure that you cross that out if you only want to send it to your circle, your horsey friends.
Right. And to get technical for just a second, what we're talking about here is, like every social network, you create a status update or a post, and that says something, whatever you want to say. You're sharing a picture, a video, some text, whatever it is, and that puts it on your wall or in your stream for other people to see. And when you're creating that status update, there's a box for the information that you're typing in, and below that would be an image that you may have shared or a preview of a link if you've got a link in your text body. But below that, there's a field called the audience field, and this is where you get to pick and choose who you're sharing your information with. And like Bethan said, by default, it's going to be to public, which just means anybody who's following you can see it. The other options are to pick one of the circles that you've created, or to pick your friends or extended circles. And again, this is where the whole circle concept can get a little complicated. But what happens is you could share to your circles, which is all the circles that you've created. And what that means is when you save that post, you're telling Google Plus, I only want the people that I've circled in all of these circles to see this post. And they will see it if they've circled you in response. If they haven't circled you, you can't make them see that post. Okay? The other option is extended circles, which just means that the people you've circled and anybody who's circled them could be able to see it. And again, like I said, honestly, I never use those two. I never use extended circles. I never use your circles. I almost always share to public, and every once in a while I'll share to a specific circle, one or two circles, for a very, very specific reason. Now,
can I jump in here for a second? I think a really important part of this is that people aren't going to see your posts unless they have you in their circles. So one thing Google's actually an amazing company, and it works on what they call a karma wheel. So the more you put in, the more you get out. Part of that is building relationships with people. So what they don't like, what I call, is splash and dash. They don't want you just to go on there and sell, and not participate in any other way. They want you to build these relationships. So if there's somebody that you want to get to, and Mike, you'd be really good to talk about this. If there's somebody that you really want to get to, make sure you have that person in your circles, and then when they're posting things, comment on it. What are your thoughts on his post on the latest Writers Association post or something? You know what I mean? And share it. Be thoughtful. Be totally unique, and be totally thoughtful about what you're doing, because they're going to see what you're doing. And if they start taking you seriously, then they're going to start following you, and bingo, you've made your relationship.
That is absolutely right, and that's one of the main reasons why I mentioned that whole volume thing. Okay, so stick with me here. What we're talking about is influencers, people who you want to create a connection with because they can potentially help your career, maybe connect you with other people who can help your career. Maybe they're prominent peers or colleagues who are kind of, several steps above you in the whole ladder scheme of things, and they could be sharing information that would be really helpful to you. So these are the people you want to follow. These are the people you want to connect with. But how do you know what they're talking about? Yeah, you can jump into your home stream and you can see the latest posts from everybody that you're following, that you want to see their stuff. But the trick that I've learned is to create another circle called Notify Me. As I mentioned earlier, you can change the volume levels of different circles. So you can have somebody who you want to see all their posts. And you can put them in an all post circle. So anybody that you put in that circle, you'll see all their posts. But you will only see their posts if you're on your Google Plus home stream and you're looking for it. But you can also tell a circle to notify you if anybody inside that circle shares to Google Plus at any time.
Oh, I never knew this. This is great.
I've got probably only 5 people in my current notified because I don't want to get overwhelmed. But these are 5 people that I really care what they're saying. Either number one, they're dear friends of mine, or number two, I know whatever they say is going to be impressive, educational, groundbreaking, newsworthy kind of material. And I want to know when they're posting it. So my phone goes off, my Google Plus on my desktop goes off, and I know that Mark Traphagen, who's an expert in the SEO world, has said something. I know when my friend Jeff C. has shared something. And I know when Vit Gundotra, the former vice president of Google Plus, would share something. Because when those guys say something, I want to know.
That's
I want to be
fantastic.
on it and comment it and share it and engage with them.
So fantastic. What a great idea. Okay. Shall we, where do you go from circles? Can we screen share and show my page? Want to show my page?
Yeah, you can do a screen share.
I hope there's nothing on there. I don't want anyone to see.
While you're trying to set that up, one thing I was going to mention too then, when you're creating that post, any post for Google Plus, and you go and you choose one or more circles that you want to share that post with, a little button will come up underneath that audience selector that says also send email. And I want to strongly caution you to never, ever, ever push that button. Okay? What you're doing, if you push that button, is you've got a circle. Let's say you've created a circle of 100 influencers on Google+, people that you want to connect with, and you put them in this circle. Then you create a post, and you want to share it with those people, and you push that button. You're going to send them an email, you're going to send them a Google+ notification, and you may even send them a text message that you just shared a post with them. Now remember, these are people who probably don't know you. They may or may not have actually been interested in what it is that you share. They certainly didn't ask to receive that information. So how do you think that's actually going to go over with those people? Most of the time, being on the receiving end of that kind of a post, we consider it spam. And people don't like to be spammed. They don't like to have that kind of information shared with them that they didn't ask for. So don't push that button. The only time I use it is I have a specific circle that I have invited people to join, and I call it my notification circle, my blog notification circle. And so if I'm sharing a brand new blog post, I select this circle and I do send those people that email notification because they've asked for it, they've opted in to be in that circle. So if you're doing something that's creating content, if you're doing HOAs like this, Hangouts on Air, if you're doing shows, you can begin to invite your followers to be notified the next time you create a new blog post or the next time you've got a show scheduled, and then you can use that button. But don't use it any other time.
Okay, I see a comment saying they would like a visual. I've got my page up. Shall I screen share?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so this is my personal page. Here we go. Okay, so I need to change this according to what Mike says. The reason I have the stars is because I have a company called thecraftstar.com, so I'm all about stars. But what I really wanted to show is, so this is my page. These are things that I have posted. When you go and click on your name, you see the stream of all the people that you follow and all their posts, which can get kind of crazy if you're following a lot of people. But this is what I want to show you guys that you're going to have a lot of fun with. Over here on the right is Start a Video Hangout. So that is doing exactly what we're doing right now, but privately. So you can have as many people in the call as you want, and you guys can collaborate. And this is what I'm so excited about for Breaking into Hollywood, of what you can do with these Hangouts. How many Hangouts a day do you think you do, Mike?
I actually had to cut way back. I'll do a lot of private Hangouts with clients, but these live broadcasts, these HOAs, they're addictive, and you can talk about a rabbit hole. If you start to really get into these HOAs, they're like reading great books or great blog posts or watching a great movie, only it's live and you can participate and you can really connect with people. I mean, we've got wonderful people like you two on this show, and then every other industry you can think of. You can go out and you can watch HOAs. J-Lo did an HOA a couple months ago. She did a live Q&A with her fans, so you could have jumped on Google Plus and been asking J-Lo about her tour and an upcoming album that she had that she was announcing. It's incredible.
Let's go back to my page, Mike, and build a post and show hashtags, and then also we can show how you can find people that you're interested in with using hashtags.
Absolutely.
Is this a good point to do that?
Sure. Yeah, we were talking about posts, and what Bethan's talking about is hashtags. So if you've never used a hashtag in your life, you've probably seen them. You know, it's the pound sign followed by a word or multiple words without any spaces. Okay. And on virtually all of the social networks now, if you're creating a status update and you include pound sign and one or more words, as soon as you share that status update, the social network, in this case Google+, will automatically convert that into a live link that connects your status update to every other status update that anybody else has shared where they've included that hashtag.
So you can use that hashtag up here. Shall I do that?
Sure.
So if we wanted to do screenwriting, anybody who's posted something and tagged it screenwriting is going to come up.
Now, the nice thing about Google Plus is, not surprisingly, the network is powered by Google. So when you do a search, if you do a search without the hashtag, it'll include that word in posts. Or you can do hashtag screenwriting, and it's only going to include posts that have actually been tagged with that specific hashtag, if that makes sense.
And then if you see people talking about things that you find interesting and you want to add them to your circle, so here's Alethea, you can hover over them and click add, and I don't have a Breaking into Hollywood circle yet, so I'm going to put her into following for the moment. So this is what we're talking about, the hover card. That's what everybody sees.
Right, and notice that when Bethan did that, not only did this person's hover card come up and a little button came up that Bethan could follow her, but it was a nice list of all the circles that Bethan currently has created, and there's even a button at the bottom of that list where you can create a whole new circle right there in the fly. So if she wants to create a new circle for Alethea, she can, right there, without having to do anything, or she doesn't even have to leave her stream. She can just do that, boom, pop her into a circle, and then keep scrolling. So this is how you can find people who are talking about the topics that you're interested in.
Okay, what's another word we should look at? Hollywood. Sorry, my connection's so slow. Okay, so here again, it shows you on the right. How are these people ranked and the people and pages? Why do they come up? Oh, look, we come up first. Why do we come up? Why do these come up?
Well, it's going to be a little bit of a complicated answer, but it's Google doing its best to serve you the most appropriate information, in this case, other people and pages, that it thinks are relevant to you. So you're right. When you do just a blanket search in Google+, if you notice, Bethan, can you mouse through your little toolbar there underneath the search? It says everything, people and pages, communities, Google+ pages. And I didn't see what else.
Photos. So I'm in communities now. That's great. Okay, communities. Perfect.
Yeah, so the everything shows you a combination of recent posts that have been shared, people to follow, communities, everything. But if you want to look for communities, which are groups that other people can join into, usually they're topical based, this is where you go. You do a search and you click on communities, or the other way is click on communities in the left sidebar and then do a community search. Either way, you're going to get the same set of results. Communities that are talking about or using the word or phrases that you're searching for. And these are communities that you can join and start to meet like-minded people.
And you meet some fantastic people. So this sidebar that Mike just mentioned is kind of a weird place because it's hard to find. You've got to hover over search here, but it will take you home back to your page, your photos, the communities that you're in, I think. Is that right, Mike?
Well, both. It'll show you the communities that you're in as well as suggested communities. Again, Google Plus will try to learn what it can about you. So the more you tell Google Plus in your story and in your posts, the better Google Plus will understand who you are and what you're interested in. So you'll begin to see recommended communities and recommended people and pages to follow that are really appropriate for what you want to see and learn.
And don't feel that you have to accept every community invitation. As you can see, I've got lots here that I haven't accepted, because I've got so much coming through my stream from the Craft Star that I'm not interested in pictures from Croatia underwater at the moment. You know, I just don't have time for that. Sorry.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, because a couple things to hear about Google Plus. Number one, you can join as many communities as you want. You're not limited. Like on LinkedIn, you can only join 50 groups. Doesn't apply here in Google Plus. Number two, even more importantly, just like with the circles, you can go into an individual community and change the volume settings for that community. So you can get some of those community posts in your stream, all of those community posts. You can be notified if somebody in that community posts. Like if somebody goes into the Breaking Into Hollywood community, I want to get a notification. So that's how I have it set up. But I'm in other communities that, quite frankly, I like being in them, but I don't participate that often. It's like every once in a while I might want to jump into the sci-fi community and see what's going on. But I don't want to hear from it every single day. So I actually have the volume turned all the way off for that community. And this is how we can make sure that when you jump into Google Plus for the first time every day and you look at your home stream, we want it to be super, super valuable. We don't want garbage. We don't want stuff we're not interested in. So be careful with the circles. Be careful with the communities. Pay attention to the volume settings, and pay attention to the people that you're following. This was actually, if I got to top 10 tips, this is my number one tip. Be selective in who you circle on Google Plus.
Yes, you can get yourself in a big mess.
Because one of the techniques is the follow first technique, and this has been around for years. If I follow 1,000 people on whatever social network we're talking about, 10% of them will follow me back, and if I do that every day, pretty soon I'll have thousands of followers. And I will have followed tens of thousands of people that I don't care about. I just don't care about. It doesn't mean they're bad people, but I'm not interested in them. I don't know who they are. I haven't paid any attention to what they're talking about. And it dilutes your stream, and it dilutes your experience, and quite frankly, it ruins it. And trust me, this is how I started on Google+. I started by following thousands of people, just hoping that some of them would follow me back. I didn't know, I didn't care who they were. And so when I went into my home stream on Google+, it was garbage. It was just filled with rubbish.
Yeah. Okay, another thing about these communities is some are public and some you have to ask to join. So make sure, just because it says screenwriting on it, make sure it's something that's active. Like this first one that's come up here has quite a lot of members and a lot of posts, yet this third one that's come up has one post. So I've just gone into it. You wouldn't want to waste your time probably in there. That means nobody's actually paying any, or nothing's happened since May, so maybe that's completely dead. But we have a fabulous community on Breaking Into Hollywood. So if you go into the Breaking Into Hollywood Google Plus page, you will see here your community, our community. And what I've done is we've got different sections so that we can get to know each other better. So we have discussion if you want to bring up a topic. We have introduce yourself. So when you first join the community, say hello, where you're from, what you do, what city are you in, because I can see in the future that when we have a bunch of people in this community that the Dallas community goes and has coffee and does script reads. That's my dream. That's what I want to see happen. What interests you? Writing, acting, directing, producing, projects you're working on, and if you're looking for help in the community. So this is, a great way to collaborate. I think this is the magic nugget of Breaking Into Hollywood on Google+. Am I overrating that?
No, I don't think so. No. I mean, because with that community, again, you can begin to connect with the other people who are going through the course and who want to learn. These are people who are just like you. They're going to share the same issues and the same dreams that you have, and they're going to be able to relate with you and vice versa. And as you go through the course, we're actually going to have a bunch of tasks for you to do. I forget what we call them now. But things that we want you to do along with your fellow community members.
The prompts, the social media prompts.
Yeah, the prompts, the social media prompts. So we're going to ask you to share a project that you're working on and get some feedback on it. Share your pitch or share your logline or whatever it is, and get feedback, live feedback from your friends and peers and colleagues. And again, these are people that you can jump into Hangouts with. So a couple, again, technical things about Google+. Number one, you can create your own communities anytime you want to. You can create communities for yourself. You can create communities for you and your friends, and these can be private or they can be public, and you can let other people join in. A couple reasons why you might want to do that. Number one, you could create a private community just for yourself as a place to share and save Google Plus posts from other people.
That's so important. Okay, yes.
It happens all the time. Every day, if you spend any more than like 2 seconds on Google Plus and you're following important people and interesting people, you're going to see a post from somebody that's like, oh my gosh, I need to have this information. I need to remember it. I need to bookmark it, right? The easy way to do that is to have your own private community set up, and all you do is share that post into the community. There's a little share button at the bottom, and it gives you a drop-down box. Take it off of public and select your personal community, and now, anytime you want to, you can jump into that community and see all the posts.
And that's basically your library, because what you can't do, like you can on Facebook, you can't pin things. So you can't put things at the top of your page to read later. So this community is so important as your library, because you're going to be following influential people who have very interesting things to say. You're going to miss a lot of them. You're not going to have time to read them right then and there. Shove them in the community. It's fabulous. Great tip, Mike.
Yeah, and then the other thing that we were talking about is if you begin to collaborate, which that is the word for this year across all industries, is collaboration. So you're going to find people and you're going to meet people that you could easily work on exciting projects with because they have some skill sets that you don't, and vice versa. Create a community just for the 2 of you, the 3 of you, the 4 of you, and use that community as a repository for your ideas and your commentary. Make it really easy for you to find each other and keep each other abreast of what's going on and have discussions in there. And then jump into a Hangout anytime you want to have a live, face-to-face conversation. It doesn't have to be recorded. It doesn't have to be broadcast like we're doing here. But with these Hangouts, it's so easy to communicate and make that critical eye contact. That's going to help you to know, like, and trust these people that you just met and might actually work with. This leads me to the next really great feature of Google+. We've already touched on it, these Hangouts. But Hangouts aren't just one-time video calls. Okay, there's a Hangout app or a plugin for Chrome, and there's an app for your mobile device that you can download and install, and you can create a perpetual Hangout with key people. This is basically like a group instant message on your phone. And with this perpetual Hangout, it can be text-based, and then you can jump into a video call and have that real-time conversation. And then when you're done with that conversation, you get out of the video call, and you still have the perpetual text asynchronous Hangout going on that you can jump back into anytime you want to.
Absolutely fabulous. So we could run themes around that. So we could have a Monday, Tuesday going that we're doing script readings, and then anybody who's interested can just jump in and out when time allows them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like a magic rabbit hole. You'll never ever get out of it. What we're kind of running out of time here, Mike. We're gonna post. Well, you posted, didn't you, a really good article with things. And we should probably blog it too, because I'd really like to push the Breaking into Hollywood community. Are there other key points that we need to get through?
Yeah, let me just run through my top 10 tips list. I'm just going to run through them, and anybody watching, if you've got a question you want me to expand on one of these after the call, we can do that. But that way I'll run through this, and then we can go on to Evernote. So, number 10, we already covered, complete your profile. Completely go through every field and finish it out. Number 9, a professional headshot as a profile image. Number 8, join relevant and interesting communities, but read the rules. Every community is a little bit different. They might have different rules. Maybe they don't want you posting links or whatever, so pay attention to those rules. Number 7, spend 5 to 10 minutes a day on Google+, minimum. Number 6, always add commentary to posts. When you're sharing a link or a picture, add some text. Tell people why they should be interested in it. Don't just assume because you're sharing it, they're going to want to go to follow that link. Number 5, always mention the people you're talking about. On Google+, you add a plus sign, and then you start typing their name, and Google+ will automatically try to complete that for you. That's how you tell that person you're talking about them. Number 4, always thank people for sharing or commenting. Be thankful and be generous with those things. Number 3, treat your Google+ stream like it's a TV channel and you're the producer. You're in charge of the content that you share and that other people get to consume. Number 2, be professional at all times, but have fun. Really, have some fun. And number 1, like I mentioned before, be selective with who you circle.
So it really is the grown-ups version of Facebook, is the way I look at it. And for my business, the Craft Star, it is the most beneficial social media route out there. And for me personally, for what I want to learn as a businesswoman, as a producer, it's the most valuable place because you can, as we said before, you can get to anybody. You can circle your hero that you've been following for 30 years just through the newspaper. If they're on Google+, you can follow them and begin to get to know them. And I think that's just such an incredible opportunity. And the fact that we can do hangouts like this whenever we want. I was saying to Gary last night, I'd really like to do a girls of Breaking into Hollywood hangout. What do you think? And what did you say?
Women of Breaking into Hollywood, I think it's brilliant. I mean, there's so many different expressions. Look, we are not a group of sculptors and poets and painters. We are people who love all things creative, and yet we've chosen to be in the middle of the most collaborative media ever invented by the human mind. Film, television, even stage play. This is, I mean, Google Plus was like a dream brought to life for people much like ourselves. That's why, I mean, I'm making notes because I've never heard of the perpetual hangout. There's a lot of things I picked up tonight. I am amazed. But this idea, like for me, the idea of doing a table reading in real time in a Google Hangout environment where we are thousands of miles apart is irrelevant. And the things that we can bring to life with these tools that you're describing is really, to me, the part of the essence and the future of breaking into Hollywood, because the community aspect, the collaborative aspect, is as if not more important ultimately than the learnings. Putting into practice what we know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yay, girls, Alethea is saying. So there's also different ways of doing these hangouts. So right now, all the events that we've done for Breaking into Hollywood have been open, have been public. But we're going to be getting to a point that, I think we decided in groups of 10, are going to be in the room with Gary, and those are going to be private, and those are only going to be for those who have signed up for the Breaking into Hollywood Master Course. So again, there's different levels that you can also put into it. You can do a live show if you want. If you want to practice your performance in front of all your friends, you can plan your own hangout. I'll show you how to do that. You can do a private one, like we just showed you on my page. There's so many things more things that we can do. And if if you round up the technical stuff, I'd be more than happy next week to do another one of these, and I can answer the basic questions. If it becomes too technical, we'll send them to Mike. But I really want you guys to take advantage of the collaborative possibilities here because they are incredible.
Absolutely.
I talk too much, don't I?
No.
So, Mike, how should we round it? Oh, okay. Can we talk about Evernote for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so Mike is like the king of all techno stuff. There is is it an app? Is that what you would call it?
Yeah, I would call Evernote an app because it's kind of interesting. It's an app for your phone. It's an app for your computer. It works on Windows or Mac, and it's cloud-based, which means you log into Evernote.com, create a free account, and on all of these places, it's a note-taking. It's similar to Microsoft's OneNote, And the beauty of Evernote, one of the beautiful things, is that you create that free account, you can create notebooks, and you can create notes within those notebooks, and everything is cloud-based. So as soon as you save a note on your phone, it's instantly on your tablet or your computer or the web browser. It's everywhere all at once.
It is absolutely fantastic, and when Mike introduced it to me, since Mike has introduced it to me, it has changed my life. I no longer have notes everywhere because they all go into Evernote, and you can have 30 different notes going at the same time, but I can access, if I'm standing in the grocery store and I come up with an idea for something I want to make, I can add it there, and then the note is on my laptop when I get home. So let me screen share. Let me try to screen share Evernote and show you what we've done for Breaking into Hollywood. What we've done, so let me make this into, we have created a 10-module, oh, that's clever, I like that blue thing, 10-module Evernote based on all the exercises in Breaking into Hollywood. So this is your homework book, and you can add to your homework wherever you are and add to it whenever you are. You can make your own notes. What we've just given you is a very basic guideline based on the exercises. But we've done all 10 chapters of this, and it's pretty cool. So, you know, I always say that creative people never, well, regularly don't have their creative ideas at the time you want them when you're sitting down at a table with a computer in front of you. With this system, you don't need to have it at a table at a computer running next to you. I can't get out of this now. So Mike, can you elaborate a little bit more about how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I'm not in the Hollywood industry, obviously, but I blog, and that's why I started using Evernote. Because I will have ideas for blog posts, which could be just the same as an idea for a script that you want to write, and I can be anywhere. In fact, I would often be sitting in my car, my little girl's asleep in the back seat, my wife's in the store shopping, and I'm just killing time, you know, like 30 or 45 minutes in the car, and an idea comes to my head, oh wow, I should write about that. So I can go into Evernote on my phone or my tablet, and I can create that new note with that idea, and I can even elaborate on it if I want to. So what we've done for you is twofold. The first part is giving you a nice, organized platform in which you can take notes and do your homework and that kind of stuff that's correlated to the course. But the real point here is to help you understand how to use that Evernote tool so that you can save your notes and save your ideas and use that going forward for years beyond Breaking into Hollywood, the Master Course.
And another great part of it is if you have an Evernote album called Breaking into Hollywood, you can also have an Evernote album script ideas, and you can share those with each other. So you can actually collaborate within Evernote as well. See, we thought of so many different things for this Breaking Master course. Collaboration is really, the community is really what we want. We believe is going to make. I can't talk anymore. I'm moving. I'm in the process of moving. I'm exhausted. I'm sorry. I can't speak. We think that this is just the perfect niche of people to get together who all have common interests. So many ways to collaborate. So, you know, we're opening these Google Plus doors. We're opening this Evernote door. And there's so much that we can all do together. And I can see that Tierra Films, I don't know your name, Tierra Films. Can you please tell me what your name is? And Alethea and Julia saying thank you so much. They're learning so much. So, Mike, fabulous. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, it is. So again, like I mentioned before, you know, we just hit the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Google Plus, and I know it was just a fire hose of information at you in a short 55 minutes. So start to, you know, bookmark that post I shared, Google Plus University. It's free. It's just, like I said, it's about 40 articles covering every aspect of Google Plus, and I arranged it in a Google Plus 101, 201, 301, 401, and 601. So you can get as advanced as you want to get in learning this platform at your pace, at your time.
Fabulous. You know, what would be great is if we send this link out to the people who haven't joined us live, get everybody in the community to watch it, and then maybe get you back on in 3 or 4 weeks, Mike, so that we can go in depth a bit more.
Absolutely.
Would that be all right?
Oh, sure.
Okay, thank you. Gary, what are you sitting there thinking?
I think it is a lot to take in when you're new to this. I'm still new to this relatively, and I'm like 90% of everything you've said tonight. It's new, and I think it's a great idea to bring Mike back in several weeks because, you know, I've taken some notes. I know I'm going to go in. I'm going to tinker around. Some of it I'll figure out. Some of it I won't. But to me, it's like I'm a visual guy. I'm a tactile guy. If I get on the keyboard and play a little bit, I learn much faster than if I'm just trying to figure it out all up here. Although I think these concepts, the values, and the you know the noise levels, if you will, and I didn't realize we had that much control over this. And even some of Bethan's examples of the different types of circles we can create, as opposed to just using the ones that are pre-programmed. So I think this is an extraordinary set of tools for a creative community. I am so delighted that you're giving us this information, and then, you know, together we'll get smarter and we'll figure it out truly in real time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Gary, we will be seeing you on Monday nights. Tuesday night, sorry, Tuesday.
Tuesdays, yeah. We are what? We just did our fourth. David Garrett was our fourth Tuesday evening guest last evening.
Who was amazing.
How wonderful was that? And we're just going to try and keep that, you know, keep the level really high. We're bringing on some amazing people in the coming weeks as well. So yeah, it's really exciting. So we're going to do every Tuesday night, and then Beth, and I know you're being mischievous, and you're thinking about doing the Women of Breaking into Hollywood. There's so many ways for us to play together and interact. We're going to keep expanding the menu.
Absolutely, and what's so great about it is we are creatives. We love being creative. How lucky are we that we are creative? Does that make any sense? I mean, I can't imagine not wanting to do this kind of stuff and not wanting to collaborate. I think it's just amazing that we have all these ideas. We can share them. We can help each other. We can build things together, and all the whole process is right here for us to take advantage of. That's what really gets me excited about it all. So thank you for letting me be part of this, Gary.
Thank you. I mean, the Evernote is a great example. You two created that. You birthed that child into the world. I don't think, honestly, I don't know that we got to show it off as well as we might through a screen share, because it's so sophisticated. I mean, I am so amazed by the times in which we live and what's possible today, and that we can have an interactive workbook at that level that is shareable, that is annotatable when you're at the, as you said, Beth, in line at the grocery. I mean, it is, because creativity is not on a schedule. It doesn't live on a timeline. So these tools are magnificent, and you're making perfect sense. And just keep up. You keep inventing this great stuff. I'm loving it.
That's Mike. Mike, thank you so much. If people have questions, how can they contact you? Through the community?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. Two things. Circle me, because you know my own wall is just me sharing stuff about Google Plus, social media, blogging. You know, so you'll learn right along with me. I mean, I'm learning right along with you guys. That's you know, I'm sharing with you the benefits and the fruits of my past mistakes and the things that I've learned from, so you can avoid some of those mistakes. But yes, if you've got questions, you can message me directly on Google Plus, share a private message with me, or just put a post in the community. Give a shout out, and I'm watching, I'm listening, and I will get to it.
Okay, and remember, to get somebody's attention, you put the plus sign in front of them and their name, and a bunch of options will come up, and you just make sure that you have the person that you want to be talking to, and that will alert them that they have a message from you. So, Mike, thank you so much for your time. We'll get you back here in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
Thank
Michael,
you.
You're the best. Thank you.
I thought I was the best. Hold on. Hey.
You're always the best, but tonight Mike's the best.
Oh, you're so Hollywood. Oh, you're the best. No, you're the best. No, you're the best. I got to give you some trouble.
This was very generous. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
wonderful, wonderful. Okay, I got to say thank you to Corinne because I didn't know her name and I now will remember it. Okay, so ladies, I really do want to do a Girls of Breaking into Hollywood session, something like this but private, that we can really get to know each other. Um, I will talk to you about that on Tuesday night and we'll arrange a date for next week. Let me get this moving out of the way. Thank you all so much. If you missed any of this, you can watch it again. It's on the Breaking into Hollywood page, our Google Plus page. Go into the community if you haven't already done so. Introduce yourself. Tell us what you're doing. Answer all those questions so that we can start talking to you. And you can watch this as much as you want over on YouTube if you want to get all the great information from Mike that might have been missed because he had so much to say. So until Tuesday. We will see you then. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Have a beautiful night.